Greetings, Q Talks, Black Swan Theory again. And today the topic is letting go of being the strong one all the time. If you're always the one who people run to, who do you run to? Always being the strong one becomes a mask, and sometimes that mask becomes a prison. You get praised for being dependable while no one asks if you're okay. It can become difficult for you to be vulnerable and be true with others, especially when you are that source of strength or you consider yourself to be that source of strength in the life of others, and you consider one of your strengths to be not being vulnerable. Rest is resistance, and softness is sacred. I truly feel that one of the most amazing and beautiful displays of true strength is being vulnerable, the ability to genuinely allow your vulnerability to be seen and experienced by others, because that goes hand in hand with the type of act like saving someone, stepping in to save someone. It's not easy. People don't talk about the strength that it takes to show that you are weak, to show your weaknesses, to embrace them and allow them to turn into your strengths. You cannot deal with a problem that you do not acknowledge. You cannot heal an ailment that you refuse to be aware of. So, when you allow yourself to be seen fully, even the parts of you that are broken, that are not complete, that are still healing, you allow your you allow yourself to be completely, and you give yourself that permission to exist entirely in the beauty and strength of who you are, not who you are becoming or who you were or who you want to be, who you are. Your worth is not dependent upon how much you carry. It's about who you are, even when you put it all down. I can relate this experience to what I am currently going through. The vulnerability it takes to repeat to people the loss of my mother, to let people know, to have that conversation over and over again. It's not easy, but the vulnerability that it takes for me to display how that is impacting me, how I want and need people to be aware, that is me being strong for myself. That is me showing up entirely for who I am right now. That is me not pretending that nothing is happening, or pretending or trying to be strong for others. That's me just letting others know this is what's going on, this is where I'm at, you know? This is where I've been. And that is beautiful. That is completely and totally more than okay. This space is for those of you, my beautiful black swans, who are learning to be held, not just to hold. You can take your armor off here. You are safe. This is the space, if any, where your vulnerability will always be welcomed, celebrated, embraced, and always honored. Always. Because I know what it takes. That's why I'm doing this. I'm not just doing this because I suddenly, want to talk, or because of views or YouTube. I'm doing this because even the vulnerability that it takes for me to show up in this way, to be to create Black Swan Theory, to create this space, this community, to pioneer this idea, this thing that is close to my heart, that is all part of what we're discussing here, you know, what it means and what it takes to show up in ways that aren't just about seeming like you have it all together, or like you're always strong and everything's perfect. If you've seen the topics I've talked about already, then you know exactly what I mean. Even as strong as I may seem, please know and understand that this is part of me creating a space for you as well as myself to embrace my strengths, honor them, recognize them, but also hold so much space for and be gentle with and not discard or fail to acknowledge my vulnerabilities, my shortcomings, my pain, you know, our pain, what it is that we have been through to be who we are, to relate to this theory of being a black swan, you know, of having these black swan events in your life. So yeah, I say all of that to say, as always, comment, let me know how you feel if this resonates. I always want to hear from you. I always want to know how you're doing as well. And I can't wait for us to connect more in the next videos and in the podcast in August. Take care.